Hi guys, welcome to the Away Fan Chat Show. I'll be doing it tonight as Tom's having problems with StreamYard. Another defeat for Leicester City Football Club in Napoli. It's a tough one to take, really, isn't it? We've got a more difficult opponent, obviously, as well this weekend against the Magpies at the King Power Stadium. Leicester City drop into the Europa League conference. How good does that sound? You can tell how devastated I am and very annoyed. But we've got a show to run with Matty from GallowgateShots, a Newcastle fan. We'll get his views on the takeover. Eddie Howe, Mike Ashley, the Sports Direct signs going down at St James's Park. What a relief for them that will be. And we'll obviously talk about Leicester in the Europa League conference incoming. So guys, get your comments in, get your views in. As always, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Snapchat, follow us wherever you can find it, Leicester Fan TV. Please smash a like, please share, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV as always. If you're watching on playback, we are live tonight for the Away Fan Chat Show, the PreMatch Show with Reedy tomorrow night, talking all things Leicester ahead in the Newcastle game. The watch-along is on Saturday at 1:30 as Leicester take on Newcastle at the King Power Stadium. The Aftermath Show just before at 10 o'clock, so get your teas ready, as Jamie will be talking post-match, Napoli versus Leicester, and how it feels Leicester dropping into the Europa League conference. Guys, as always, get your views in, get your comments in, and let's get this show on the road then. See you in a minute.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, welcome to the Away Fan Chat Show. As always, it'd be great if you could join me in this one. Let's get a few good evenings and then Sat Rogers. Hide behind the sofa, Newcastle game, shambolic. Where if we defend like that, Newcastle are going to be having a field day against Leicester. Alan Saint-Maximin, absolute cracking player. Newcastle are going to Crushers this weekend. Absolutely shocking what the F is. Conference League, Rogers out. Well, there's a lot of comments for Rogers out. What did the Europa League conference mean? I don't understand. Well, you ask Spurs, they're in it. I'd say it's a tin pot trophy, to be honest. Can't see things improving with Rogers at the helm. Leicester were crap tonight. Well, everyone's going to have the idea on Leicester in an opinion. Is that the Mickey Mouse Cup, which the Spuds are in? Yes. Just maybe a little bit bigger than the Audi Cup, but they previously won. We've leaked 30 goals since 22nd of September. LCFC on Sunday. It is. You put me right there. If we play like we did tonight, we'll get a hit by a cricket score. Not good enough, mate. Are you Rogers out? Oof. Do you know what? I think if we don't win against Newcastle, then things are going to be talked about, aren't they? Rogers must win on Sunday, no doubt. Absolutely shocking in defence. James Hill said he'd sat Rogers. I think Newcastle will be disappointed if they don't set 3 points at the King Power Stadium, as won't be surprised if we lose at all. Oh, this one's difficult to take, especially after tonight's game. It's not been the greatest for the Foxes, has it? 3-0 to Newcastle. Casey, Daniel, always pissing about at the back. I'm sick of it. Well, Jackie, baby, hello, Gray. How are you, mate? Hope you're well. Defending and making an absolute embarrassment of themselves. Well, our defensive, it's not zonal marking or corners you can complain about tonight. It's absolutely shambolic defending by the Foxes. 2 goals in early minutes. Napoli was up. And then we came back through Johnny Evans and a good goal by Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. He was my man of the match. Nobody else was. We've leaked 41 goals in 21 games. Stats. He won't turn it around. Rodgers in, players, no passion. Good evening. They'll bully us out the game, says Aggie. Do you know what? Newcastle are going to be hanging around after that 1-0 win against Burnley. Get him out. Rodgers, third season syndrome. I said it. Liverpool said it. Third season syndrome for Rodgers. I just didn't want to believe it. But like I said, I was the first one to say it. Third season syndrome. Cags is overrated in my opinion, mate. But that's my opinion. Let's look at our next 5 before calling for the sack. Tottenham, Everton, Manchester City, Liverpool, Newcastle with the next 5 games. How many points we're going to get out of that, I do not know. We can't defend. Our defence is about as much use as tits on a fish. Well, interesting. David, no defending. That's our motto. We don't have any personal integrity as players to try better. Our king and Dewsbury man of the match. Daka is sub is good use. Do you know what? Where's that Foxes never quit attitude? Foxes fans. Tonight was shambolic. Napoli fully deserved the win. They was better than us all over the park. We missed some sitters, Vard, with the Madison one. We will beat Newcastle by only papering over the cracks. The FA Cup win. People say papered over the cracks, especially with the form we're on since February. I fear for us looking at our fixtures coming up. Kubi, Rodgers out. Well, here's one for you. Europa League Conference incoming for Leicester City Football Club. It's not something I'd have looked at. I mean, Leicester City and Napoli were obviously favourites to go and win the competition. Well, it looks like we may be favourites to go and win that. I mean, if we can't beat teams like Aston Villa and that, I mean, what chances have we got in the Europa League Conference, Leicester fans? Bertrand at fault. Pound shop defending, that is. Buy one, get one free, Vestergaard and Bertrand. And what a mess it's become. What poor. Rodgers will go as much as we were in the Premier League. Ivan Smith. We need to move out 3 to 4 players. Do you know what? It's not a team at the minute, Leicester City Football Club. It's certain players not good enough. I mean, you can't blame Luke Thomas tonight. You can't blame Vestergaard. You just blame what they're playing. We need to buy in January. Yes, we do. Our best defensive midfielder, the Conference League draw is on Monday. Wow, really look forward to that. It's like looking forward to the FA Cup draw, isn't it? The top and family, I believe it's all about pride and ambition. Where's the pride in the team now? Well, you tell me, Leicester fans. Bertrand is all about as useful as knitted condoms. Well, break the bank and get Eric Ten Hag. I mean, I said Nuno Espirito Santo, Leicester fans. I don't know if you guys agree. I mean, he didn't really get a chance at Tottenham, but that's my opinion. Very poor recruitment. Daka was probably the best buy, but people say it's only scoring against Farmers. A good clear out is needed. Yes, it is. It's about time we take responsibility now. Brendan blaming the young players tonight. Why are you blaming the young players, Brendan? Blame the old team. None of them was good enough. He was about the club actually giving Rodgers some proper money to spend over finishing 5th and winning the FA Cup, overachieving. Well, Lampard or Mancini. Bertrand was on a free transfer. Well, it's better being free than spending on it because I wouldn't even spend £1 on that. Nuno for me. Hassan Hutel has shifted us from that 9-0 win. We need to get that intensity back. There seems to be no urgency. Do you know what? Even when we were behind 3-2, at the end of the day, we kept passing it around the back and sideways. Brendan Rodgers, take blame tonight because all the blame's on you. You left the substitutions late again. Nuno over Rodgers. Well, it's just an opinion, mate. Nuno's out there. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to take Leicester job if Brendan was ever to go because obviously I don't want Brendan to go, but that's my opinion at the end of the day. If we lose to Newcastle at the weekend, is Rodgers a goner? You tell me, Leicester fans. Graham Potter for me. Leicester fans now in the Conference League. Nuno for me. When's our people back from illness? Well, I wouldn't say Leicester caught a cold tonight defensively. We were more socially distanced than anything else. From goal, I mean, poor defensively for the 3 goals. Gasperetti from Atalanta. Brendan will cost us a fortune to get the sack. Saints been there, Dross off to us and ain't looked back. Rodgers out before Sunday. Interesting. Substitutions made no sense for me. Should have brought Albrighton on sooner or even started him. Let's get our guest in then from Newcastle, Matty from GallowgateShots.
Hello.
How are you, Matty?
I'm good, mate. Commiserations to you and all the fans tuning in tonight. I'm a bit of a sickener of that one, especially with the situation in the other game. But I'll swap positions with you immediately if you want.
I think this is where Newcastle want to be in 10 years, isn't it, Matty, playing European football?
I think I'd like that. I'd like to just be safe, established Premier League, not fighting relegation every season. That's my short-term goal. I think we might have to go down to achieve that. But for me, I just want to be an established Premier League team that isn't fighting relegation anymore.
Are you rubbing your hands under that table, Matty, knowing you're facing Leicester?
No, I'm holding the can. I wouldn't have any overconfidence when it comes to any side in the Premier League. It's not just that cliche of there's no easy games, but it's the fact that I know what Newcastle United are capable of when it comes to good stuff and bad stuff. We're on a bit of an upward curve, not a massive one, but Eddie Howe is doing the right things and getting responses out of the players that he's got. Just the players that he's got, for me, aren't good enough. They try their hearts out. I don't think any of them are shy away from the cause. But I just don't think right now we're good enough. And I think he needs to try and get that extra 5-10% out of the players. Hopefully, we'll still be within touch and distance of safety when it comes to January, because then we can maybe reinforce the team a little bit. But who's going to want to come to a bottom of the league side? We'll have to wait and see.
Do you know my mate Alan Williams, cracking lad, sits in the Gallowgate end?
Oh, well, I sit in the Leazers end, Glenn, so I wouldn't know him now, unfortunately.
Yeah. What's business been like transfer-wise for Newcastle? You obviously brought in your Ryan Frasers, your Callum Wilsons. How have they settled in at the football club? I know that was the time when Mr. Mike Ashley were in charge.
Well, we haven't done much business this season. Obviously, we brought back in Joe Willock, who definitely deserved and we needed to bring in. Unfortunately, he hasn't started the season as well as he finished the last one. And you say that last season we brought in Callum Wilson, Ryan Fraser and Jamal Lewis. And in the first one, Callum Wilson especially has been a huge part of us being able to stay in the league last season. And he's the same guy who's making us tread water and not letting us sink without a trace this season. He's a goal scorer. You saw that last season at the King Power. Cool, calm, just injury prone, which is a shame. So when he's gone, our goals pretty much go away, which is something that might have to be addressed in January. But Callum Wilson definitely is probably one of our most important players right now. If he leads the line so well, he's a proper centre forward. I'm a big fan of Callum Wilson.
Guys, if you're just joining the stream, please smash a like, share, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV if you're watching on YouTube. Push that notification button. It'll tell you every time we are live. Matty, let's talk about the new takeover then. The Sports Direct signs have now been taken down and Mr. Mike Ashley has gone. How does that? How sigh relief is that as a Newcastle fan to hear that news?
It feels like I've had a 19-stone boil removed. It's been honestly such a relief to get him gone. This club has been a shell of a football club. I appreciate all things in terms of situations change up and down the leagues. I'm sure there's teams in the conference and League Two cares for me because I'm saying that in the last 14 years we've been treated terribly, but for the majority of those 14 years we've been a Premier League club, which I appreciate. But to be a Premier League club that just exists and doesn't want to progress and just basically gets good results off mostly luck and the hard work of some of the players, it was really tough to really find any hope. We have that hope now. We do have a consortium of owners who are going to try and take us forward. We have a manager who's very progressive. He's not stuck in his ways. He's not a dinosaur. And the fans are behind him. And going to the games recently, it's been just great. We're all in it together. And as you say, the Supporters Direct signs have been brought down now, which have always been an eyesore. I think any away fan, especially Chelsea fans and Arsenal fans, have always sang songs about how all you can see is Sports Direct at St James's Park. And thankfully, that'll be no more. So, yeah, it's a massive relief, mate. Massive relief.
Do you fancy taking Jose Perez back with your takeover money, Matty?
You know what, mate? I probably would. I mean, we won't be. I mean, I think genuinely there will be incomings, and they're going to be these owners. I don't think are going to splash stupid amounts of cash straight away. They are going to be patient. They are going to be pragmatic. They're going to be smart with their transfers and do things the right way. I think. But Jose Perez, I was devastated when he left. He was pretty much, I don't know if it was a third or a half of our goals the season he left. We got a good price for him, don't get me wrong. And I think he started quite well for you guys. But since then, he's just sort of been a bit part player, if I do believe. Out from the outside looking in, the goals have certainly dried up. I mean, he's one of those players that he does come across as lazy. He can come across as just a sort of a statue not moving. But at the end of seasons, on 3 years on the bounce, he showed how cool and calm and clever he is with his movement. He needs to be in and around the box, and he needs the service. Not to say that he's a world beater and you can blame any of his shortcomings on his teammates, but Perez, for me, he has something. He's probably not for where Leicester wants to be, top 6, top 7. He's probably not one of those players.
Is he worth £30 million though, or do you think that's like rip off Britain?
Well, I think, at the time, he's probably worth £30 million. He just came off the back of a season where he'd scored his first hat-trick in the Premier League against Southampton. He'd scored winners against teams, and he's formed a fantastic partnership with Solomon Rondon, and was really just showing how cool and, like I say, calm in the box he was and clever. But we knew what his shortcomings were as well. But I was good to see him go because of the goals. But I think you've probably seen the worst part of him rather than the good part. Although he did score a hat-trick for you in that 9-0, I think he did.
I think that's the best we've seen of Jose Perez.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really see... What is his natural position, Matty? I mean, since coming to Leicester for £30 million from Newcastle, we've never really found out Jose's actual position. You told me what it was then at Newcastle, what made him that really popular player.
Well, like I say, you say popular. I mean, there's a couple of lads on the channel would probably argue that they certainly wouldn't think he was popular. I think that the whole fingers and ear celebration came from the criticism he was getting from the stands at Newcastle. A lot of people stuck with him and liked him because he had scored a lot of important goals. Other people were starting to turn their backs on him. And when he hit his form, he just decided to, adopt this celebration of I'm not listed yet, which is fair play to him. But as for his position, for me, it's not to sound like a football and hipster or anything, but like a shadow striker. He's not a number 10. He's not someone who's going to thread the ball through an eye of a needle, yet he's not an out-and-out centre forward. For me, he needs to play with a 2, whether that be a smaller forward or a bigger forward. But we really saw a great partnership with him, Solomon Rondon, when under Rafa Benitez. And I think that if you're going to get the best out of him, you need a sort of a commanding physical presence. Now, I don't know if Dakar is a physical presence or not, but, you need someone he can play off. He can sort of make runs off as they hold the ball up. Very, very, very sort of old school, little and large, but he just doesn't have the pace either, though. So it's strange. He's one of those purgatory players where he's not quick enough to be a proper centre forward. He's not strong enough to be a hold up man, but he's just got this good finishing knack about him. Again, I appreciate that he isn't the best and he's not a top Premier League footballer, but we did see some good at him at Newcastle, but we also saw the same amount of bad, I would say. So I would probably give him a 6, 7 out of 10.
What are Newcastle's ambitions then, Matty, for the next 5 years looking into the football club now this takeover has been complete?
Well, our ambitions now is just to stay in the league pretty much. And I think that's going to take close to a miracle. I think Eddie Howe's again's done great, but you've noticed that our defence is still leaky. We've only lost 1 in the last 5, but then again, we've only won 1 in the last 5. We're score draw merchants, 3-3 against Brentford, 1-1 against Brighton, 1-1 against Norwich. And we managed to keep a clean sheet for the first time this season in the last game, which was great. But I think the damage is already done. There's been a bit of a hangover left from the previous manager. I won't bother mentioning his name. But, I have full faith in Eddie Howe to give it his best, give it his all to get the best out of the players. Hopefully we can get some new legs in January, and we never know. But I'm starting to make my peace that we might be going down. But hopefully with the backing we have, we can bring in some good players, keep the majority of what we've got, which will be tough. And it'll be a case of promotion and then building from there. But, I don't want to be super pessimistic. We're not down yet. We're only 3 points off safety effectively, but we have a very tough run of games going into Christmas. So for me, short term, stay in the league. From then on, just build, solidify. Don't be the ones fighting relegation all the time. We're not asking the world. We're not asking for trophies. We're not asking for Europe just yet. The investment has to come first, which it will. But we'll have to wait and see. People think our expectations are unrealistic. It's been a very easy, low-hanging fruit insult to give us, but we know we're not unrealistic. We know our club's a big club, but we know what the situation we're in now, and we have to just be patient and see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of building, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Mike Ashley spent more money on pies than he did on Newcastle players in a transfer window. Is Eddie Howe the man then?
Yes.
For the Magpies?
He is, yes. I mean, well, it's a bit early doors, but everything I've saw from that man, I've liked. He's a manager I'm proud of. He's only been there 4 games, one of which he had to miss through COVID. But he's an articulate man who seems to wear his heart on his sleeve. Well, I say heart on his sleeve. He's passionate, but he's measured at the same time. He's the best of both worlds. He's meticulous in his preparation, in his approach. He's a workhorse. He's a workaholic. He looks at every aspect of the game and looks to get the best out of every player that he's got. And we've seen that the effects he's had on John Joe Shelby, who was just a shadow of a player under Steve Bruce when he could play anywhere. And today, recently, he's been a revelation. He's brought in Jamal Lewis from out in the cold. He's been good, and he seems to be working that sort of that relationship he had with Callum Wilson at Bournemouth. So he is the man. Even if results fall off a cliff a little bit, I'd still persevere with him if he went down. I really like Eddie Howe. Again, he's just a manager who gets it for me. He gets it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Newcastle the season so far then? How has it gone for Magpies?
Well, it's been a roller coaster in a whirlwind. Bloody, I don't know how many more analogies I can make. Like, within first 5 games, I was thinking it's going to be a tough old season. We're probably going to be relegated with a few games to spare. Then we get taken over, and that is the craziest thing ever. We never thought that was going to happen. I'd made my peace with it anyway. I'd made my peace with that wasn't going to happen, and it happens. But then, we can't blame them for not acting quickly enough because, these people, the first time they've owned a football club. So Steve Bruce lingers for a bit, then he goes, then Graham Jones has a couple of games, and we still look exactly the same as we did under Bruce. We needed that manager in quite quickly. We don't get sorry, I'm drawing a blank now. The Villarreal manager, ex-Arsenal. We don't get him.
Mr. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Unai Emery. We didn't get Unai Emery, which would have been a good appointment, but for me, Eddie Howe's came in now, and it's just been a whirlwind, ups and downs, and just draws and losses. And then we finally get that win. And that's been a huge monkey off our backs. And I'm so happy that we got the win. And we just have to try and kick on from here. But thoughts on the season so far? It's not been great. But there's been some rare big highs given the takeover and the new manager being appointed.
What are your views on Leicester? Ivan Smith asks Matty, looking into Leicester City, especially after defeat. Does it give you confidence as a Newcastle fan to think you can get something at King Power Stadium on Sunday?
Well, I still view Leicester through green eyes. I'm very envious of your situation. When I watched you lift the cup at the end of last season, I was stupidly envious. You had that owner who cares deeply, the family who cares deeply about the club in such a short space of time. He's won a trophy, he's won league titles, and he's looked to build every season. Now, I appreciate the money hasn't exactly been there. Correct me if I'm wrong, this season. Yeah. But there's still some quality players there. James Maddison's a good player. I still think Jamie Vardy's got a bit about him. I think Soyuncu, for me, I don't know what's happened with him. I was super envious of that player. He sort of went down a little bit in the performances I've watched him, but I still think it's a quality side. And every time we play you, I mean, you've done us over a good one a couple of times at St James's Park, but recently we've had decent form at the King Power, so it's a strange one. I don't go into Sunday's game confident at all, but I'm more confident than I would have been with Steve Bruce on the sideline. But what my thoughts on Leicester are is, they've done really well. I think I don't mean this as disrespect, but you've overachieved for the last 6 years. Like it's you can't do anything better than when you've won the league. And I think anything in them seasons after are a bonus. And I think that can sort of shroud a fan's perspective because, you get that money, you were in the Champions League, you've been in Europe and now you've sort of solidified yourself as a top half team, if not the upper half of the top half team. But I think, there's always that word perspective. I appreciate you're going to have your views on the current manager because of results not being the way they are and the changes that perhaps he's making that you don't like. And he has got a habit of maybe not doing as well in his third seasons. Third season
syndrome, yeah.
But for me, just to answer the short answer is my view on them is they're a big club. They're a big club with a good team, with a good manager, where he's not making the right decisions right now, it would seem.
Yes, obviously Newcastle last time they came to the King Power Stadium in the Premier League, they spanked us 4-1. Knocked
4-2. 4-2 it was.
4-2 was it?
Yeah,
Knocking our Champions League hopes down the drain.
Yeah, I remember that game very well. Obviously, still behind closed doors at the time. We were 4-0 up, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I really didn't. 4 goals under Steve Bruce never happens. I think it was only the second time he'd done it, both in the behind closed doors sort of era of football. But then he showed the other side of his game, which is the defensive organisation was all over the shop. 4-0 up with, 8 minutes to go. We should be home and hosed. You scored two. You scored 2 goals in quick succession, and then Jose Perez forced an amazing save out of Martin Dubravka, and I am to this day confident if Perez would have sank that, we're drawn 4-4. So I wouldn't say it was a spanking. It was for 80 minutes, but then it got very, very nervy near the end. But again, I remember Jose Perez scoring a goal in a 1-0 win under Rafa. King Power, it's been all right for us. But again, it just doesn't make me very confident for Sunday. The past is the past.
Yes, true. Let's talk about your last game then, going into the Leicester game. Obviously, you guys have just come off a 1-0 win against Burnley. I mean, Burnley, I think they've been very lucky over the last few seasons to stay up, to be honest. What was your thoughts going into the Burnley game then? I mean, you could call it a relegation battle, couldn't you? Mm-hmm. Is in that game. Obviously, you guys played Norwich, didn't you, the game before that? Mm-hmm. How have you feel that after this win then, how far now do you feel you can climb that table, and how many more points do you feel you're going to get this season, having that confidence after beating a Burnley side or a Sean Dyche side or whatever you want to call it?
I think the most important thing was to get that first win. Doesn't matter how it's coming. It doesn't matter if it comes off a defender's backside or what. All you needed was that first win. Now, people looked after our run of form, not beating Brentford, getting beat off Arsenal. That Norwich and Burnley doubleheader at home was one where people said you have to get 6 points, otherwise you're down. Now, we played Norwich. We went down to 10 men after 8 minutes and managed to still go 1-0 up and lost it, but the lads were knackered by the end. So as much as you can go away saying good performance, lads, we still didn't beat Norwich at home. Burnley, like I said, it wasn't one for the neutral. It was a poor game, 2 poor sides, but we looked the more likely to score, in my opinion. We had a couple of chances after scoring the first goal. And again, Callum Wilson, what I said, shows his class. He keeps his cool, puts it past a couple of defenders into an empty where the keeper's been stranded. But for me, it was just, again, a case of winning however you could. And as soon as that full arm whistle went, I appreciate that, it's got the ire of Twitter, of people on social media saying, look, they're acting like they've won the cup and they've beat Burnley at home. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the togetherness with the squad, with the manager, and basically telling them we're with you, and they were showing us that they're with us, and that was why there was a lap of honour. That's why Eddie Howe was doing the fist pumps. And with that togetherness, you might get an upset, which if we get 3 points on Sunday, that's an upset for me. I mean, I know I've seen those comments when I was waiting to come on the video, and there's people saying 3-0 Newcastle are going to smash us. I think this is all with tonight's result in their heads. I think just look at it objectively. You're playing a poor side. You're playing one of the worst sides in the Premier League. Let's not pull no punches. But I hope we can go there and get something. I pray we can go there and get something. And I'm confident they're going to try their hardest and not just sit back like we would before. That's what Eddie Howe's going to sort. That's what Eddie Howe's going to bring. He's going to try. We're going to try and take it to you. We're going to try and get goals. We're going to try and get shots away, not just sit. But I mean, say a draw against Newcastle. Yeah, I'd probably take it, to be honest. We need to pick up points where we can and then get through this really tough period of games. Because after this, it's Man United, Man City, Everton, and Liverpool as well after you guys. So it's going to be very tough.
Matt, injury news then. Is there anyone who's going to be missing for this Leicester game?
As far as I'm aware, no. Paul Dummett scored, funny enough, in that 4-2 win last season. He's been a long-term injury absentee. Kieran Clark will have served his suspension, so I think that hope that he's not going to be back in the team because he's been quite poor for us. I think you might just see an unchanged side. Ryan Fraser is injured, though. Ryan Fraser was not on in the team or on the bench last week, so he might. I don't know what his case his injury status is, but I think you might just not see an unchanged team. I think it will keep the same shape, and you'll see the same team as we played against Burnley. Team
selection then. What starting 11 are you going to go with then to try and beat a poor Leicester side at the minute?
Yeah. I just think it'll be the same. Martin Dubravka in goal, who's made a difference since coming back. He did sort of make an error against Norwich, but he also rectified that with a couple of good saves. Left back, Jamal Lewis, who's came in since Matt Ritchie got suspended. Now, since he's came in, since getting suspended, he's took that chance with both hands, and he's been very, very good. Centre-half partnership, Jamal Lascelles as captain, and Fabian Schär. Federico Fernandez can see himself as unlucky because he's been fantastic when he's came on for Newcastle in the last couple of games. Right back, Manquillo. Two centre midfielders, John Joe Shelby and Joe Willock. Like I said, John Joe Shelby's been I wouldn't say a revelation, but certainly better than what he has been in the past. And then you'll see Almiron, St. Maximin, Joe Linton, he's been a revelation since Eddie Howe came in, and Callum Wilson. So I think those front four of Wilson, Almiron, St. Maximin and Joe Linton might be able to cause you a bit of bother. I think Joe Linton's physicality now, he is using that to his advantage. He's very brutal. He's not playing centre forward. He's sort of playing this like central midfield role almost. So he might, cause some problems. But St. Maximin, he hasn't been the best since Eddie Howe came in. He's trying, but we haven't seen him flare or shine as much as we used to.
Yeah, he seems to turn up quite a lot, doesn't he? St. Maximin, what a player. I'd have him at Leicester. I mean, we haven't replaced Riyad Mahrez for the last few seasons. So
I think a lot of people would have him. Yeah, a lot of people would have him. But he is a bit of a maverick, bit of an enigma. He can have absolutely amazing games. But when the chips are down, sometimes he can be one of the most frustrating players to watch. I've seen him do some ridiculous things with the football at his feet. I've seen him take on nearly entire teams before. But then it ends with either a shank shot or a misplaced pass, and that's one thing I think he needs to work on. But I'm a 32-year-old sales rep. I'm not a football coach, so I mean I'm not going to tell him to do too much with his game. He's just he's a great player. I think if we went down, we'd lose him. But he's bought into the passion with the fans, and he has to play every game for me, even if there's a chance of him not showing up.
Yeah, Callum Wilson seems to also have a great record against Leicester. Obviously, his time at Bournemouth showed that. He seems to love a goal against Leicester. Will it be the same come the weekend, do you reckon, with especially how we're defending this season?
Well, I hope so. I can only say I hope so. He took, I think did he score 2 against you last season? He scored one that was brilliant, where he had a shot, it got saved, hit the bar, came back to him and whipped it at the top corner. It was brilliant, and that's what you get with Callum Wilson. It all depends how we play, and I'm hoping that we're going to get the ball in around the box for him to have a go. I think it's going to be an open game of football. I think both teams will definitely score. Maybe one of them will be Callum Wilson.
Yep. Let's look at your next games then, Matty. Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, and obviously Everton. How many points are we talking here then?
That's brutal, isn't it? Brutal viewing. Yep. That shows how much of an important game Sunday is, because I think, I'd still probably take a point, but you look at Liverpool, Man City, Man United, and you have to be realistic and say that's 0 points. Everton are in the... Will our old manager be there by the time we play Everton? It's going to be hard to say with the way the fans have reacted to his coming and the recent results and recent performances. However, they did get a late win against Arsenal, so we'll see. But those 3 sandwiched between Everton and Leicester, I do not fancy us at all, especially with Man United with a new manager who seems to be, gotten them playing a certain way. City, we have a terrible record against City, and Liverpool, I can't remember the last time we beat them in the league, to be honest. I think it might have been back in the days of Alan Pardew. Alan Pardew probably last time we beat Liverpool. So it's not looking great. If we can get a point out of those 3 in the middle of Leicester and Everton, great. But I'm saying out of them 2 points out of 5 games, which by then you're probably talking you might be cut adrift. We have to hope that Norwich, Burnley and Watford maybe don't get any results either.
Predictions for Newcastle then this season, Matty?
Well, if any of my my fellow YouTube channel friends are watching this, or any sort of Newcastle supporter, I would unfortunately have to say I think my head says we're going down. It's not going to feel as doomed as it would have under Steve Bruce and Mike Ashley. I think if you'd have offered me just staying up with Steve Bruce and Mike Ashley as owner, or going down with Eddie Howe and the new owners, I'd have probably said, let's go down, let's rebuild. It's still a tough league to get out of, and I'm not saying we'll do it first go, because every year league of the Championship gets better. My head says going down. My heart says, look, let's hope Eddie Howe can pull some rabbits out of hats and we'll finish 16th, 15th. We'll see what happens. We've still got a full half of games to play, half season of games to play. But by the time that half of the season kicks off, we might need to win 10 games, which isn't going to happen. So we'll see. Predictions, head going down, heart says we'll just about stay up.
And the very last question then, score prediction for the weekend then.
It's going to be another head and heart scenario, I guess. I think 1-1. I think we'll maybe go down a goal and have to galvanise to come back. But who knows? We've had a decent record there. Let's say we win 2-1. I want to say 2-1 Newcastle. Let's be optimistic.
Yep. Okay, Matty. I'm going to wish you the very best of luck for the rest of the season after Sunday's game. Just not before, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I always say the same thing, mate. But all the best to the fans who are going to the match. You know, take it in because hopefully we won't be getting took away from grounds again with what's going on. But soak it in. Try and just all have a good Christmas. Onwards and upwards for Newcastle and hopefully Leicester after Sunday.
Tell us, as a neutral fan then, Matty, what you guys do at GallowgateShots if fans want to head over there.
Just all things Newcastle, man. All things Newcastle. We will have little shows like this. I do Beyond the Lines when I speak to away fans as well. We get the odd guest on there. We recently had Dan Gosling, ex Newcastle United midfielder on there. We've had the likes of Ryan Taylor on there. We even had Alan Shearer make an appearance on a live stream once. Warren Barton as well. The channel was born of four lads just talking shite in a pub, and it seems to have sprang, little offshoots of different little shows like all YouTube channels do. But it's everything Newcastle. But like I said, we do the other way show as well. So yeah, if you want to check us out, GallowgateShots, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Yep.
Thank you for coming on, Matty. It's been a real good chat talking to you.
Yeah, everyone have a good Christmas and a happy New Year.
Cheers, mate. You too. See you in a bit. That was Matty. Guys, get your score predictions in then for the Newcastle game after tonight, really. What have we got to defend for? Get your score predictions in, guys, for the Newcastle game. Angers me. The only people who suffer are Leicester fans. Players just don't seem to be bothered. 4-1 Leicester, 2-1 Toon. I fear for a Sunday, so do I. If Newcastle turn up and St. Maximin and Wilson turn up like Napoli did tonight, well, could be a completely different story come Sunday afternoon. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Leicester win. I'm going to go 2-1. Callum Wilson's going to score. And for Leicester, where can I see the goals coming from? James Maddison and Harvey Barnes. There's my score prediction for Sunday, plus the players I think is going to score. Guys, the big question is then, if you are joining, can Leicester turn this around? Are you Brendan Rodgers in or are you Brendan Rodgers out? Get it in the comments. I want to see how many of you have changed your mind or are sitting on the fence. If I win the Euro this weekend, I will pay Rodgers off and get Lampard in. It'll be an interesting podcast. If we lose, Rodgers out, I reckon. Leicester. Question, Jack. Do you think Rodgers wants to sack? You asked Brendan. It's third season syndrome. Like I told every Leicester fan this season, knowing the results are going that way, I was the first person to say it. Third season syndrome. It happened at Liverpool and it's happening here. Brendan's just coming up with all these excuses now and it's getting ridiculous. Say we want Rodgers out. Don't want Lampard in, that's for sure. Do you know what? I'm on the fence at the minute. I'm going to sit on the fence and see what happens on Sunday and that. What up, Alex? How are you, pal? Are you well, mate? Everyone who's watching then, please smash a like, share, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV if you're watching on YouTube tonight. It'd be much appreciated. Smash a like on YouTube. Push that notification button. It'll tell you every time we are live. So please do that for me. Please go and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can find us at Leicester Fan TV. Please go and follow us on all our socials. Coming up on Leicester Fan TV then, let's have a look, shall we? We've got ready for the pre-match show tomorrow, talking all things Leicester City. See if Leicester City can turn it around in Brendan Rodgers. The watch-along is on Sunday at 1:30 with the boys. The after-match show is on at 10 o'clock. Jamie, big talk with Rodgers out for sure. So join Jamie for all of that. Post-match Napoli. If Rodgers was top class, Man United would have took him. Well, exactly. Guys, thank you so much for watching the Away Fan Chat show tonight. I know you're all going to be very annoyed, depressed, frustrated, watching absolute garbage tonight. A team who can't defend for themselves. And you know, it wasn't a team performance tonight. It was individuals let us down again. Certain players need dropping. How about Kenny and Dolly and Brendan and Colo out? Do you know what does Colo do from this defending perspective? Absolutely nothing. I mean, we can't defend for ourselves, and it's absolutely joking now. And it's just ridiculous from my perspective watching tonight. Napoli fully deserved the win. But, you know, are you Rodgers in or are you Rodgers out? You let me know in the comments. And in the future shows, can Brendan Rodgers turn it around on Sunday? Join us here at Leicester Fan TV and see if he can. Europa League Conference, is that played remotely on FIFA? Yeah, you probably get a better outcome on FIFA than watching Leicester at the minute, defending the way we do. Europa League Conference is not something I wanted, but there you go. We can't all get what's given in life, I'm afraid. This was coming as early as the West Ham game. Do you know what? We've been poor since February. People would say the FA Cup win is just papering over the cracks. Maybe they're right. Who knows? But guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. It's been much appreciated. Thank you to all the sponsors, ADT, Hollogram, Tiger, Pizzeria, Pukka Pies, Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, the Foxes Arms, Newby Co and Hope Against Cancer. Thank you to all the guys for sponsoring us here at Leicester Fan TV. This is Jack saying good night. I'm going to go and get a rest. I'm going to go and put my feet up and have a nice cup of tea. You guys enjoy your evening as well. And I will see you in future shows. Bye-bye for now, everyone. And see you in a bit.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, the Foxes Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.